What's up, guys? Cody here today with a Malphite game. A few quick things I want to point out before this gets going. One, we have a Shaco. I don't like Shaco jungles because they fall off really hard when it comes to mid and late game. Two, we have a Kindred ADC. I don't like that either because she can't get marks. And three, our ADC has exhaust and our support has heal instead of vice versa. For whatever reason there is. But so I'm going up against Elise in this game. I didn't want to go Malphite at the start of the game when we were choosing champs, but I ended up going Malphite because my team needed some tank and they needed some good form of initiation, because as you can see, Shaco doesn't really provide any of that. Kindred doesn't really provide any of that. Annie kind of provides some of that, but it has to be able to get there to begin with, and so it's really predictable when that's going to happen. But so I was like, I gotta go Malphite this game, so that way I can start things with my ult. This Lee Sin is really bad, and my Grasp of the Undying is doing work on him. So he's not really doing too well. I'm running out of mana, but it's gonna end up being an easy kill here soon. So this game, I don't die once. The whole game I don't die a single time. And it's an important part that I don't die once. Shaco comes in and gives me a simple game. It's an important part that I don't die because if you notice when I play games, I don't really die. Don't really die much at all. And it's because I make smart engages. I know when and when I can't really go in on something. I typically try and ward, and typically the only times you're gonna see me die is if I'm playing reckless, trying to kill the enemy because they're on low health and the jungler happens to pop up, or if I'm in a team fight. That's really the only times you're gonna see me die. You will notice I try not to die during the laning phase all that much. So it's one of the things is there will be games that I lose, but I end with such a great KDA because I knew a lot of the engages my team was doing was not gonna work. So it's very frustrating when you lose a game, but you lose a game, but like you yourself did really good. Right here, Lee Sin's not playing really smart at all. I'd kill him right now if I had the mana for it, but I honestly don't at this point of time. Which is smart because if you run in without the mana necessary, then you pretty much just screwed yourself over. Which goes to the smart engages thing. And as you can see right now, I have wards in the river, so I am set to go. I know Rammus was just mid lane, so I'm kind of playing safe. Like if I'm gonna kill Lee Sin, it's got to be now. Which, as you see, that's when I go and engage. Mid lane's still fighting and actually dies, which is fine. Shaco comes in and cleans up the kill. Shaco then tells me that he's coming over here. I was gonna let Lee Sin push this out, and then Shaco leaves, of course. So I'm just trying to get going right now, but a lot of like when back to the devs, if you don't die a lot, then that's you being smart. Like if you know the limits of your champion, which I do know the limits of my champions 99% of the time, then you'll know when and when you can't engage, and don't listen to anybody else that says otherwise. But the overall issue that I see in my games is a lot of deaths by my teammates, and that's why we typically lose. Not to be, you know, arrogant or anything, but I don't die as much as my teammates. As you can see right here, I know I can kill Lee Sin. Just kind of waiting for him. I know he's in the bush, so I know as soon as I walk over there, he's gonna try and do something. But I get a Q off on him and Grasp of the Undying with the auto attack and the W as well was enough to kill him. But so the issue when you die a lot, there's a few things happen that you need to stop happening. One, you're not warding and the jungler's ganking you and killing you, and you're playing too far up in general. Two, you're trying to fight stuff that you really shouldn't be fighting. So you don't know the limits of your champion, and you don't know the limits of their champion. So you got no idea. So you got no idea how powerful you are. This is a great play here. Come in. Kind of help secure that. I mean, I guess I wasn't really necessary there, but I helped get this tower. But when you're dying a lot, it's either it's your fault 99% of the time. Whenever you die, it's your fault that you're dying. Nobody else's. But so you're either misjudging how strong you and your opponent are, not warding and playing too far up and getting ganked by the jungler, or you're trying to do fights that you really shouldn't be because you think your team's coming and they're not, and you aren't paying attention to the map. So it's a lot of map awareness and whatnot. It's really map awareness, knowing how strong you are, knowing how strong your team is, and knowing what fights you can and can't take is really all that it is. But knowing what objectives to try and contest. But I guess and getting caught out, that's one of the big things. Is when you're trying to, at the end of the game, your team will throw just by one person potentially getting caught out, because if one person gets caught out, odds are is that some other dumbass is gonna try and save them when they really shouldn't be. Here we pick up an easy kill on Rammus. It's literally the people are getting caught out left and right. They're running into their jungle. I'll use them as an example. The enemy, they're running into their jungle left and right. The enemy shows up, and Shaco dies, but he takes Bard before he goes down with him. And Lee Sin burns his ult for who knows what reason. But I'm getting fed right now, and I noticed Cat's getting fed as well, so I gotta start building some MR. But it doesn't really make much of a difference in the end. But you should, if you're dying, if you have the most deaths on your team, then you are typically the one that's causing the issue of why you're not winning. If you are like a Yi that's like 7-7 with like hardly any assists, you're not really helping the team, because I know most Yis get their kills at the end, near the end of the game. Near the mid to end, near the near the middle of the end of the game, just because that's how I've seen stuff happen, especially at this elo that I have to play at. So yeah. Right now, they got caught out, and so I had to go. I was like, okay, well, I can try to remedy this situation by ulting, trying to get something here. Because I know I'm so tanky that even if I ult in, I won't die necessarily, and I know that even if I do die, it's like, I know I have Annie to back me up with my ult. Right here, I'm walking around here. I see Rammus is over here. And I'm sitting here thinking, easy kill. Bard portals and Rammus just flashes over, so they got Dragon, but I mean, there was 3 people there. You can't really stop that. If Ezreal was coming around to actually get to the Dragon Pit, there wasn't really much that we could do, especially since he's doing blue build, the blue Ezreal build. So it's not really going to be all that easy to stop him from chasing us down, especially since both of me and Annie had lost our ults. So right here, Cat's just staying too close, and I mean she Shumpows away, which is unfortunate, but which is one of the things that you have to remember when you're playing against certain champions, that they do have a way to get out many times. What? Bard just wasted his ult there. But you can't like burn some of your summoners. You can't burn summoners or just key ults on champions that can do that. I thought I was gonna be able to burst her down a bit more than what actually happened, but I wasn't able to. And now I'm going back to the typical strategy that I end up doing as my top laner, and that's just split pushing right now. Or at least pushing the wave a little bit. Shaco's over here, so he's like, okay, let's go and get this tower. I'm like, okay, cool, man. Let's do that. And now we're on the run. I'm trying to help Shaco as best I can, but he's not getting away. Because all he had to do was really just Q towards the enemy. And he didn't do that. So, yeah, all he had to do was just do a Shaco little antic play. So I get here, I'm waiting for my moment to just ult in and just do my thing. Which is one of the good things about Malphite. One of the good things about Malphite is just his ult and how tanky he is. But this game is getting really hard for me to do anything because my teammates keep dying. Like right there, we couldn't do anything because 2 people died right in a row. Fortunately, I'm Malphite, and I'm pretty much stopping anything from happening to my teammates. Bard's gonna throw out his ult. Ezreal E's over the wall, but hits Baron as a result, and thus dies. Bard uses his Q, so that way I know I can go through his wall, his portal. Then he uses Ghost and gets away, and also flashes. So now there's a lot of people down. We know we can get Dragon. Like I was saying, one of the great things about Malphite is his ult. It's what makes people choose Malphite. It's because it's great in team fights. And you knock up you knock up 2 to 3 people with it every time. See right there, knocked up. Everyone's kind of gone and it's just me right now, but you know, I go in there and I pick up 1 person instead of it being 2 deaths. It's 2 deaths for nothing. We got 1 person instead, which is, you know, better than nothing. So, and actually Ari and Rammus died at the same time, so maybe it was a 2 for 2. So now Rammus coming up trying to get me. Doesn't really make much sense, and Annie almost dies right here because of the fact that she tried to save me, but I have Boots of Swiftness. You're not gonna really kill me when you're not gonna catch me on that Boots of Swiftness and means of slowing them down. So I ult over the wall just to make sure Shaco doesn't die, and to make sure that we have the kill. It is always better to use your ult to kill 1 person. Like if 2 or 3 people have to use their ult to kill somebody, it's fine. I know a lot of times people are like, oh, they used 3 ults to kill me. It's so bad on their part. It's like, no, it's actually good on their part, because what happened was you died. So now there's 1 less person. Right here, I know how tanky I am, so I'm just like, screw it, I'm gonna tank this tower. And Ezreal stays around and gets hit by the Aria charm and dies because of it, because they think tower is all good for them. So now we get free towers, we're getting just free everything right now. And it's because of how tanky I am. Right there. I'm not tanky enough to tank those towers, but I know I gotta run, because if I don't, it's gonna be an issue. But yeah, this game's in the bag by this point. All it's gonna be is a little bit more back and forth action until we get into a fight. Ari gets caught out again, causing this game to go on longer than what it needs to be. It is very frustrating when people get caught out, because then you can't do anything for a few minutes, because you can't go in without them. Because if you do, you risk having to try and win a 4v5. I missed my ult there. This is funny. I'm raiding on the other side for Bard, and he ults. He gets caught in it, which is kind of funny. He had his flash too. He could have just ulted flash and gotten away, but he didn't. So now we killed them. Since we didn't kill, since there was 2 people up still, we didn't feel safe going and trying to just push and end the game. So it was a lot safer just to back and get not to try and push, get Baron and just back with that, and then group up with the Baron. And at this one time, I'm pinging for my team to help me, and all I want my team to do is just help me push mid. When you have Baron buff and they have literally just their Nexus their Nexus turrets up, everybody should be going mid and just pushing that, or whatever lane it is that you have it. Especially when your team wins team fights. When they literally can't do anything to stop you, just push the lane and you'll be fine. Do you notice we got this almost gone now. Bard wastes his ult to try and save this. This is almost down. Shaco's over here messing around with this. He doesn't even need to be. He just needs to push the mid lane turret. So remember that. If your team's got Baron, just push the damn turret. Just push mid lane or whatever lane has no inhibitor, so that way you can just end the game. When your team has a better team fight, just try and end the game. And so that was That was a Malphite game. I did 10-0-15. I participated in 25 out of the 40 kills in that game, which, I mean, games should not have that many kills, to be quite honest. They should not be that high, but this game was. So what, like 25 out of 40? What's that? Like, it's more than half. It's like 60 some, so. It's just, it was a frustrating game for me because because whenever your team is losing, your team is like, oh, we should surrender, blah blah blah, this and that, and it gets very frustrating. Especially when you have a chance at winning, and your teammate is just can't deal with the fact that they themselves are losing. Especially, I hate it when it's just one person that's doing bad, and they're like, guys, we need to surrender. We have no chance. And I'm just like, dude, just because you're doing bad doesn't mean that the game's over. And unfortunately, what happens is they start doing worse and worse and worse because they don't know what they're doing to begin with, and they start complaining more and more and more. And a negative attitude from one person will affect everybody else. So, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Remember to like and subscribe if you did, and see you in the next one. Thanks.